There's a way to live inside her head rent-free, a way to make her feel your presence even in your absence. And in this video, I'll reveal 5 powerful ways to do it, step by step, so that she's the one who can't stop thinking about you. So let's start with the first principle, the one that makes her feel your presence even when you're nowhere near her. Here's the thing, women don't actually miss you. They miss the way you make them feel. That's the raw truth most men never understand. I'll tell you a story. There was a girl I dated years ago. Nothing crazy, just a few weeks. But months after it ended, she sent me a message out of nowhere. I still remember the way you looked at me when you teased me about my coffee order. Think about that. Out of everything we did together, what stuck? Not my face, not my words, not even the nights out. It was a tiny moment, a tone, a look, something so small, but it carried an echo. This is psychology. When you give her a moment charged with energy, whether it's laughter, challenge, or warmth, you create an imprint. Later, when she's alone, her brain replays that moment like a song stuck on loop. That's what missing you really is. Her mind replaying your echoes. Here's how you use it. Stop trying to impress her with grand gestures. Instead, drop small, charged imprints. Hold eye contact half a second longer when you tease her. Lower your voice when you lean in. Touch her wrist lightly when she laughs. Then pull back. Don't overdo it. Leave the echo floating in the air. Please remember this. What you make her feel in 5 seconds will last longer in her memory than what you say in 50 minutes. And when you're not there, she'll replay it over and over until she craves more. But emotional echoes alone aren't enough. To truly stay on her mind, you need to give her something to wonder about, something her brain keeps chasing when you're gone. If you give a woman everything up front, your thoughts, your feelings, your schedule, your full story, there's nothing left for her imagination to chew on when you're gone. And the brain hates unfinished business. It replays it. It obsesses over it. That's why the most powerful way to make her miss you isn't to disappear. It's to leave gaps. I'll give you an example. Back in university, I was talking to this girl after class. We'd hang out, laugh, and then I'd just cut it short. I'd say, alright, I've got things to do, I'll catch you later, and leave her mid-curiosity. Once she asked me, what are you up to? And I just smirked and said, you'll see, and walked away. I didn't realize what I was doing at the time, but later she told me, you always left me wondering. I'd go home thinking about you, replaying the conversations, trying to guess what you were doing. That wondering, that's the mystery gap. Now compare it to the mistake most guys make. They overshare, they text every detail of their day, explain everything, confess feelings too fast. Sure, it feels like closeness, but it kills the tension. She doesn't miss you because she doesn't have to. She already knows everything. There's no gap for her mind to fill. Here's the psychology. The human brain is addicted to cognitive closure. When something feels unfinished, the mind keeps looping until it finds an answer. When you leave her with a question, a tease, or a cliffhanger, she keeps thinking of you because her brain wants to finish the loop. So how do you do this practically? Drop half statements. Say, you'd be fun in certain situations, and leave it there. Or start a story, then pause and say, I'll tell you the rest another time. Or when she asks what you're doing tomorrow, don't give the full itinerary, say something interesting with a smirk. Then change the subject. These small gaps drive her mind wild. Brother, please hear me on this. You don't have to be mysterious like a Hollywood character. Just stop spoon-feeding her certainty. Let her imagination do the heavy lifting. Yet even mystery fades if it's not tied to emotion. What makes her feel something every time she remembers you? That's the next level. If you want a woman to miss you, you need to understand this. She doesn't crave you. She craves the state she felt when she was with you. And here's the sneaky part. Once that state is anchored to you, every time she feels the echo of it later, her brain runs straight back to your image. That's how you live rent-free in her head. Let me show you. Years ago, I dated a girl who loved spontaneity. So instead of the boring, let's get dinner, I once told her, be ready in 10 minutes, I'm kidnapping you. We ended up grabbing ice cream at midnight and sitting on the hood of my car, just talking under the streetlights. That night, she laughed so hard she cried. 2 months after we stopped seeing each other, I got a text. I just drove past that ice cream place and thought of you. That's anchoring. The ice cream wasn't special. The streetlights weren't special. I wasn't even special to her at that point. What stuck was the state, the laughter, the adrenaline, the spark that she unconsciously attached to me. Every time life reminded her of that state, she felt me. It's called creating an anchor. It's when you link a strong emotional experience to a stimulus, your voice, a gesture, a place, even a song. Once anchored, that stimulus re-triggers the feeling. And when you're the anchor, she craves you every time she craves that feeling. So how do you use this? Simple. Pick peak moments. When she's laughing hardest, when she's leaning in closest, when her eyes sparkle, and add a unique cue. Maybe it's a phrase only you say. Maybe it's a playful nudge on her arm. Maybe it's a look you hold 1 second too long, then withdraw withdraw. Don't stick around until the moment fades. Leave while the emotion is still burning. That way, the peak gets locked to you. I'll give you another quick real-life one. I used to tease a girl with the same line every time she mocked me. Careful, you're getting addicted. It was playful, light, but here's the magic. Months later, after we stopped talking, she messaged me, "I hate that I still hear your stupid addicted line in my head." That's the anchor echoing. Brother, I want you to try this. Pick a phrase, a gesture, or a playful routine and attach it to her peak states. Please don't overthink it, keep it natural. But watch how, when you're gone, those states pull her back to you like gravity. Lock this truth in. She doesn't miss the moment. She misses the state, and I am the state. But anchors only work if she still values the source. If you become too available, too predictable, the anchor loses power. That's why the next principle matters most. Most guys hear scarcity and think it means playing childish games, waiting 3 hours to text back, pretending they're too busy, acting cold. That's not scarcity. That's insecurity wearing a mask. Women smell it instantly. Real scarcity isn't about time. It's about certainty. When she feels 100% sure she owns you, she can relax. And when she relaxes, the chase dies. But when there's a tiny question mark, does he want me as much as I want him? That's when she misses you the most. Let me give you a story. I used to talk to this girl daily. Long messages, constant updates, and after a while, she got comfortable, too comfortable. One day she even said, "You're sweet, but I don't really think about you when you're not around." That hit me like a brick. Why? Because I was too available, too certain. So I changed one thing. I didn't disappear. I didn't play games. I just stopped making her the center of my orbit. If I was out with friends, I stayed present with them. If I was working, I focused on my work. When she texted, I answered, but calmly, in my own rhythm, not like a man jumping at a bell. Within a week, her tone shifted. She started double texting. She asked what I was doing, where I'd been. That subtle uncertainty flipped the dynamic. Here's the psychology. The human brain values what feels scarce. It's not about minutes or hours. It's about unpredictability. If you're always available, she doesn't have to think of you. If you're sometimes present, sometimes distant, without explanation, her mind starts looping. Where is he? What's he doing? Who's he with? That loop is what creates the feeling of missing you. Here's how you use it. Stop announcing yourself. Don't explain why you didn't reply in an hour. Don't narrate your day. Let gaps exist. Be fully present when you're with her, but when you're not, live your life without handing her a play-by-play. That's not rudeness, it's dignity. Please don't confuse this with neglect. The goal isn't to starve her of your presence, it's to make your presence feel like sunlight, warm, radiant, but not always guaranteed. That's what makes her crave it. And once you master scarcity, when your presence feels rare and magnetic, there's only one move left, the move that binds all of them together. And by the way, if you want the full playbook, the psychology, behaviors, and exact phrasing to make her miss you without chasing, that's what I break down step by step inside the attraction algorithm. The link is in the description. I left this one for last because it's one of the most important techniques in the video, and at the same time, one of the most powerful ones I've talked about since I started the series How to Attract Women, but I've never explained it in detail before. So let me now explain it to you properly and show you how to apply it. This technique is called the unfinished thread. If you don't know it, it's simply about open loops. Give a little, don't finish, and let her mind keep spinning. You're not being rude, you're being precise. She chases the ending while you say less. The brain hates unfinished stories, so it keeps coming back to them. That longing she feels isn't you, it's the unresolved you. Example, you're in the middle of a story. Remind me to tell you why I stopped flying from Madrid. She asks, why? You smile, hold eye contact for a second, then say, later, and change the subject. Ask her about her scar, her favorite city, the teacher she hated. You opened a door, then walked away. Now she's imagining what's inside, and that imagination works in your favor. Up to this point, everything is clear. I've told you this many times before, but I've noticed that many guys still struggle with this technique. They memorize a few lines, and when they meet a girl, they start throwing them out, and it looks like they're just acting. That's why I need you to really listen to me now. I don't want you to memorize this technique. I want you to understand it. So let me go a bit deeper with you so you can understand me better. There are 4 types of the unfinished thread, and I'll explain each one of them. 1. Story thread. Start a story at the moment just before the drop. I was in the back of a police car for 5 minutes once. Anyway, then stop. Let her pull you to continue. 2. Challenge thread. You'd be dangerous if you learned how to read people. Not today. Leave it there. She'll want to prove you wrong, then beg for the lesson. 3. Future thread. We probably get banned from at least one coffee shop another time. You implied we, then took it away. She'll imagine it without your help. 4. Sensory thread. Whisper a detail and walk away. You smell like winter and arguments. words. No explanation. Now her mind searches for meaning, and your voice becomes the soundtrack. What I want from you here is not to memorize these lines and go say them to her, but to internalize them, combine them, 2 or 3 at most. Never finish all at once. She gets a sip, not the whole bottle. You can use this technique when you're with her in person or while texting. Each situation has its own way of applying it. Let me start with texting and give you an example to make it clearer. She: what are you doing tonight? You: trying not to repeat what happened last Friday. She: what happened last Friday? You: short version: we got away with it. The long version needs coffee. Then stop. No emojis, no winks. Let her thoughts work overtime. And by the way, this is one of the best techniques to make a girl want to see you. And one of the biggest reasons a girl puts you in the texting zone and doesn't want to meet up is because you don't use this technique. If you're the type who talks too much over text, repeats everything, and explains every detail, then be sure the girl most likely won't want to see you because she won't miss you. You haven't given her a reason to. And that's exactly where the unfinished thread comes in. Use one of the types we talked about, and when she asks you to finish the story, always set that condition: when we meet. And by the way, I have a book, I'll leave the link in the description, entirely about texting and how to talk through messages. That's for texting. But when it comes to real life conversations, things change a little because it depends on timing. You create an emotional peak, then you leave. In the middle of laughter, say, "You're trouble. I'm leaving before it gets good." Stand up, touch her shoulder once, leave. The body stores that emotional peak and labels it with your name. Later, in silence, the peak returns without you, and that return is what we call longing. And if she clings to you, meaning she wants you to finish and close the loop, that's when you challenge her and ask for something in return. For example, you say, "This is a secret thing, let's save it for next time and I'll tell you." If she insists and says, "Tell me now," don't just tell her simply. Ask for something in exchange, like, "Okay, but only if you tell me a secret you've never told anyone." Or, "Do a cat voice and I'll tell you." And let me give you some rules I want you to always remember whenever you apply this technique. Open late, leave early. Never open a thread at flat energy. One line, then pivot. If you justify or explain, you've killed the magic. Never promise endings. Imply, then withdraw. Let her invite the next scene. Close a thread only at your peak, and only if a deeper one replaces it. Here are some examples to understand better. Remind me to tell you the elevator story. You'd break rule 3 without realizing it. Another time. You're not ready for that version of me. Bookmark this. You'll need it later. Careful. You're asking the question that changes everything. Try just one of these this week. Don't stack 5 and look theatrical. One thread, clean delivery, then calm withdrawal. Watch how the silence grows. Remember the line, "Attraction lives in the tension of the unfinished." Say it to yourself before you open the door and walk away, because in the end, that's what attraction really is. A story she can't stop replaying, a thread she can't stop trying to finish, and you are the unfinished thought she'll never get out of her head. This was The Dark Needle. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.